What credit score do you really need to buy a home in 2026? Hi, I'm David Hittle. I'm a real estate specialist here in Kentucky with United Real Estate Louisville, and I help buyers make smart, confident home decisions without the hype or the pressure. And today, I want to answer one of the most common and yet misunderstood questions I hear from buyers all the time. What credit score do you really need to buy a home in 2026? If you're thinking about buying a home in 2026, there's a very good chance you are worried about one thing more than anything else: your credit score. I can't tell you how many people I talk to here in the Louisville area who say, I'd love to buy a home, but my credit isn't perfect, so I'm probably not ready yet. In a lot of cases, that belief is flat out wrong. So today I'm going to walk you through the real minimum credit scores, the differences between the loan programs, and the biggest mistakes that I see buyers make that delay their home purchase by years unnecessarily. So let's get into it. Here is the big myth I hear all the time about credit scores. I need a 700 or a 750 credit score to buy a house. That might have been true in certain lending environments years ago, but that is absolutely not the reality for most buyers today. According to standard mortgage guidelines and what most lenders actually use in practice, you can qualify for a mortgage with a credit score much lower than what most people think. And in real life, I regularly see buyers here in Kentucky purchasing homes successfully with credit scores in the low to mid 600s. Sometimes even lower. So let's break this down by loan type. The FHA loan. It is the most forgiving option. FHA loans are one of the most common programs used by first-time home buyers. They are designed to be more flexible with both the credit score and the down payment. Here's how FHA generally works. With a 580 credit score or higher, many lenders allow as little as 3.5% down. With a credit score between 500 and 579, some lenders may allow a purchase with 10% down. Now, not every lender will go all the way down to 500. That's what's called a lender overlay. But the key takeaway is this: you do not need perfect credit to buy a home with an FHA loan. And here in the Louisville market, a huge percentage of first-time buyers use FHA loans successfully every single year. Conventional loans are not as scary as people think. Conventional loans do usually require higher credit scores than FHA. But again, the numbers surprise people. Most conventional programs technically allow a minimum credit score of about 620. Now, will your interest rate and approval strength be better at 680, 700, or higher? Absolutely. But a 620 score does not mean you can't buy a home. It just means your options may be more limited and your payment may be a bit higher. And here's something important to remember. I've seen plenty of buyers delay their purchases for 2 or 3 years trying to get from a 640 to a 720, only to find out they could have bought much more home earlier and started building equity instead. VA and USDA loans. If you qualify for these programs, they can be incredibly powerful. VA loans for eligible veterans and service members often allow credit scores around 580 to 620 depending on the lender, and they offer zero down payment option. And they typically have very competitive interest rates. USDA loans are for certain rural and suburban areas, often allow scores around 640. They also offer a $0 down payment, but they do have income and location restrictions. And yes, parts of Kentucky outside the Louisville metro area still qualify for USDA. So if you are looking in surrounding counties or smaller towns, this program may be a total game changer for you. So what really matters more than your score? Well, this part is critical. Your credit score is important, but it's not the only thing that lenders care about. In many cases, lenders care more about your recent payment history. Whether you've had late payments in the last 12 months, your debt to income ratio, and how stable your income is. I have seen buyers with a 700 credit score get denied because their debt was just too high. And I've also seen buyers with a 620 credit score get approved because everything else looked clean and stable. So if you are still sitting there thinking my credit isn't perfect, so there's no point even talking to a lender yet, that's often the exact wrong move. Here's the biggest mistake that buyers are making, and it's the mistake I'm seeing all the time. People are waiting years trying to fix their credit to perfection before they ever even talk to a lender. But a good lender can often tell you exactly how many points you need to improve, which balances to pay down first, which actions will raise your score fastest, and what not to do that could hurt your score. Sometimes the fix is paying down one of your credit cards. Sometimes the fix is removing a small collection. Sometimes it's correcting a reporting error. And that can change your buying power in 30 to 60 days, not 3 years. What I tell buyers in Louisville, and here's my honest advice that I give buyers here in the Louisville area. If your credit score is 580 or higher, you should absolutely be having conversations with a lender. 620 or higher, you may already be closer than you think. 680 or higher, you're likely in a very strong position. And even if your score is below that, a 10-minute conversation with the right lender can save you months or years of waiting unnecessarily. A quick pause here for a moment. If you are thinking about buying a home in Kentucky and you've worried that your credit might hold you back, hit the like button and subscribe, because I put out simple, honest real estate guidance every other day to help buyers make smarter decisions without the hype. My final reality check for you. So what credit score do you really need to buy a home in 2026? Well, in most cases, somewhere between a 580 and a 620 is enough to get started. You do not need perfect credit, and you do not need to have everything cleaned up. You do need to talk to a lender. The biggest risk isn't having bad credit. The biggest risk is waiting too long because you assumed you were not ready. If you are in the Louisville or surrounding Kentucky area, or planning to relocate here, and you want help figuring out where you actually stand right now, my contact information is in the description. I am David Hittle, your real estate specialist doing business as Shop Kentucky Homes LLC with United Real Estate Louisville. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and tune in for the next video where I break down how much house you can realistically afford in today's market.